Hi, my name is Michael, and after searching the web for the longest time, I could not find a video that would show me how to make water that looked frozen for either a train layout or a Christmas village layout. So every year we set up a Christmas village, and I came up with a system that I'm going to share with you today that shows you how to make bodies of water that will look frozen. So I'm going to take us in the other room and show you my completed one right now that looks semi-frozen. It's supposed to be a large lake, and therefore it's not completely frozen because, as we all know, large lakes don't completely freeze. And then I'll bring you back out to the kitchen where I will show you with a few simple, easy ingredients how to make a frozen lake. So this is the Christmas village, and this is where the lake is located. And as you can sort of see, it has deeper blue and then lighter blue. The one that we do will be completely white and look totally frozen. So let's head back to the kitchen and make this. Okay, so the ingredients that we're going to need to begin with is going to be our layout. Once we have our layout and we know where we want the lake to be, then we can paint it. Now we can either use spray paint like this one. This is the one that I used for mine. I painted the bottom of the board blue. I had to let it dry, and then I put the wax over the top of it. At the same time, now there's a number of ways of doing this. At the same time, I painted the wax as it was still wet before it hardened to get different layers of blue into it. We're going to want to paint the deeper parts of our lake the deepest blue, and anything closer to the shore we're going to want to paint a lighter color. As far as wax goes, simple tea-lit candles. They come, you know, just for you stick them in your Christmas things and light them, and there's a little flame that lights up whatever it is inside. Alright, now we have to de-shell them and take the wick out, and when that's done they look like this. You usually cut them in half to get the wick out. Okay, to do that we're going to use a utility knife, and then we will just on the outer edge here, without cutting our finger, splice down the side. It's thin, it cuts very easily, but it can be sharp. We're going to open it, take the bottom off. We'll discard the bottom. On the bottom there's a metal pin that holds the wick. We'll discard that as well. Our knife, again, starting in the center point where the wick is, cut through it without cutting your hand, breaking it in half. Here's the side with our wick, and just simply pick the wick out. Once you have them all cut in half, you put them into your regular cooking pan. Today I've used about 6 of them for the lake that you've seen in the other room, which is not completely wax covered. There's 60. I actually bought 120 candles to cover that, and I never completed it. I was happy enough with how it came out. The board's kind of uneven, and it forces the wax to move to one side because it goes to the lowest point, like water, of course. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to put it on a heat source, and we're going to get the candles hot, and then we are going to put them in this glass dish. Now I chose this dish just for an example because it does have a little bit of shallowness to it that will allow the wax to settle around the top or edge here. So of course it's not going to be blue in the bottom. I'm not going to paint my wife's dish, and it will be easy for me to take the wax out once we get done and wash it. Now on yours, you're going to dump it right onto your layout, the hot wax, let it run and settle to where it finds its own, and then it will harden it. And it's almost like watching water freeze, actually. It's a pretty neat system. So let me just heat these up. Okay, so our wax has been melted in the pan. Now you do want to be careful, because even though that the pan is made for melting things, you know, while heating things, the wax that's not in the upper half of the pan allows the pan to become hot, and it kind of smells a little bit. So we're going to dump this in here. Now on yours, of course, the bottom would be blue, or whatever color that you've painted it, commonly blue. The wax will begin to melt. It will look just like ice as it freezes. Well, I shouldn't say freezes, it's more as it hardens. But in this instance, we're going to be calling it ice, and that's what it's doing, essentially, is freezing. Now, on a lake, when the lake is frozen, everybody knows it's not nice and smooth. So one of the things that you can do that I've done on mine is blow across the top of it. It helps the wax cool a little bit quicker, and it gives us some layers to allow it to be layered like a lake would be layered, and it makes it look like it has waves. You can see around the outer edge it's already beginning to become hardened. Now another trick that you could do is, at this moment in time, you could take a blue candle, any blue candle. They don't make blue tea light candles, I don't believe. The first year that I did this, I used a blue candle, and I found it very tedious to make sure that the blue and the white were mixed together in such a way that it didn't appear as though parts of the water were unfrozen. And what I did was, at this stage, I began to melt the blue candle, and then I dribbled into the top of the wax little dots, almost like a drop of food coloring, into the top to allow it to disperse, and it became very faint, and it made it mix in with the white nicely, and allowed it so that it looked as though it was frozen, but you could still see some of the water underneath where it was like maybe a shallow spot in the ice. Now you can tell in the middle that it's beginning to become hardened as well. Eventually the entire thing will be hardened, and it will look like a skating rink. Now if you see the slight ripples where I've blown on it, see if I can get a better view. The ripples where the water has been blown across, like I said, gives it that effect of waves pushing across the water. So this is how you make a frozen pond or a stream. The first year I did a stream. This year I did a lake. You could use it for a pond. You can use it for an ice skating rink. You could use it for pretty much anything. They're done in train layouts. You could also use it in a Christmas village, which is what I use it for. I have a Christmas village that has a train layout with it. So it's a combination of the two. And like I said, I couldn't find anything like this on YouTube at all, or anywhere on the internet, to explain how to do it. So I decided to make my own, and this is the idea that I came up with. And if anybody has any other ideas that they've done, or anything that they think would be great, I'm open to suggestions. Thank you.